Welcome, everybody. For those you may not know, I'm Sheriff Joe Lombardo. Thank you for coming to honor the lives of the 58 people who died on 1 October. Today's ceremony is time to reflect, to remember, and to gather together and to support one another. In just a moment, the ceremony will begin with the March of Honor conducted by the Multi-Agency Honor Guard. Let us stand as they enter and together show our respect for the families who lost so much on 1 October.
Honor guard, present, colors. Honor guard, present, huh. Uniform officer, present, huh.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets and the hits that the singing air
Post. Color. Troy, haste. Forward, march.
Let's pray together this morning. Heavenly Father, we come to you in humility and with grief as we remember what took place 1 year ago today. We come to you, God, our eternal source, for comfort and healing. Our prayers are for those whose lives were lost last year and for family members and friends who are attempting to cope with that loss. We pray for all those who were injured both physically and psychologically by this tragedy. We ask for your healing power to flow into their lives and bring healing physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We pray for everyone in our city who's been traumatized by evil and ask that you, our God, bring good out of this in a way that only you can do. We thank you for our police officers and our first responders who saved so many lives and who bravely ran into the face of danger to protect our community and continue to do so every day and at this very moment. We thank you for the resilience of our city and our community and government leaders who were so supportive to bring help in any way possible. We thank you today as we remember what happened, that you can take something that the enemy meant for evil and use it for good. We thank you for being a God that can take death and turn it into resurrection. We remember how so many in this community rallied together to show love to everyone and supported everyone. And today we remember that love triumphs over evil. And we rejoice for how far you have brought us and for how far we have come. May your gracious and merciful blessing be on all the activities today in our community as we strive to make Vegas stronger. Amen.
I can get everybody to take your seats if you have one there. Governor, you need to remain standing. It's the last time I give him an order. So I want to thank everybody for being here today, obviously. And we have a couple of speakers that want to address the crowd. If you would give us the indulgence. At this point, I would like the governor of the great state of Nevada, Governor Brian Sandoval, to say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you for the beautiful invocation, Chaplain Sanner. And thank you everyone for coming together this morning on this solemn occasion. Where do we begin? What do we say? Today, we remember the unforgettable. Today, we comfort the inconsolable. Today we gather in mind and body when we never left each other in spirit and heart. Today we are reminded of a pain that really never goes away. You all came here today with courage and conviction in your hearts. The courage to once again bravely share memories and seek peace and strength as a member of the Nevada and Las Vegas family. It is a courage and conviction that has defined us since the first moments of last year's 1 October events. It is a courage and conviction that forever connects us. It was the courage of people at a festival to risk their lives to save total strangers. It was the courage of people who ran toward danger to offer unconditional assistance. It was the courage of fearless men and women of law enforcement, firefighters, medical providers, first responders, coroner staff, MGM Resorts employees, and everyone else for whose bravery and sacrifice we are forever grateful. It was the courage of those who immediately answered the call for help and selflessly gave blood, food, and comfort. 1 year ago, an event took place that rocked us to our core and took something from us that we can never, ever put back. We will never fully recover from that fateful night, nor should we. But from that night of Nevada infamy came one of our proudest moments. We became one people, one community, one family. We cried, we grieved, and we resolved to become Vegas strong. And 1 year later, we are Vegas stronger. This morning, we remember those who lost their lives and their families and friends who no longer have the blessings of their loved ones. They are not forgotten. This morning, we remember the thousands of survivors and their families and friends whose lives were forever altered. They are not forgotten. This morning, we remember the blessings of the heroes among us, the concertgoers and everyday citizens who risked their lives that night so that others might live. They are not forgotten. This morning, we remember our law enforcement officers, firefighters, first responders, healthcare providers, coroner staff, and hospitality workers who showed the world the true measure of bravery. They are not forgotten. The social workers, counselors, doctors, nurses, volunteers, and countless people who continue to give their time, skill, and donations to heal those who seek help. They are not forgotten. And everyone here and across the globe who contribute the infinite power of hope, thought, and prayer. You are all not forgotten. Scars of 1 October will forever be with us. They are indelibly carved in our hearts and in our memories. But today and every day, we continue to make the choice to triumph over evil in a shared moment of faith, peace, and friendship, and emerge Vegas stronger. May God bless and protect the victims and their families and friends, our first responders, all of you, our beloved Las Vegas, our great state of Nevada, and the United States of America, the greatest nation on earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. From the onset of the tragedy, citizens in our first responder community acted. Concertgoers helped evacuate the injured. Officers rushed past the bullets and shielded people. Paramedics came from all over the valley and worked alongside firefighters to bring people to safety. When the sun rose the next morning, grief turned to anger, anger turned to resolve, and resolve turned to action. As doctors and nurses worked feverishly to attend the wounded, our faith-based community worked to heal broken hearts. Citizens formed lines at the blood banks throughout the city to give a part of themselves to help others heal. Donations poured in from all over to help pay for medical and funeral costs. And all around our city, acts of kindness comforted the suffering. We learned that we are not defined by our fears, but by our will to overcome them. A calm was brought to chaos, and a generous outpouring of support restored our sense that we're more good in the world than there is bad. To this, we may not choose the circumstances we find ourselves in, but we can choose what we do from here. There are two choices, to give up or lift others up. We chose the latter. This morning should also be a reminder of ourselves to strengthen our commitment to never let this happen again and always stay vigilant. Today, we're not just Vegas strong, we are Vegas stronger. I thank you all for coming, but prior to me introducing our next speaker, can we all say Vegas stronger? Vegas stronger. Thank you. Our next speaker will be Commissioner Steve Sisolak.
Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Before I begin my remarks, you know most of the folks seated up here. There's two gentlemen to my left that are sitting on the end of the row that you might not know. Those are Jesus and Stephen, who were the two security guards that helped identify that. Jesus took a shot, and they saved countless lives along with our first responders. And I want to take this moment to recognize them for what they did, their bravery. We will forever be grateful for your bravery. We at Clark County are proud to host this Sunrise Remembrance with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, which I believe is the finest law enforcement agency in the nation. They, along with the Clark County Fire Department and many others, performed admirably when duty called 1 year ago today. No one on this stage, no one in this amphitheater, and no one watching at home could have imagined that such a nightmarish tragedy would befall Las Vegas. But it did. Today we remember most of all the 58 who perished that terrible evening. Those 58 angels are watching us now from heaven. We remember all of those who lost their loved ones and friends. The hate that was rained down on those individuals by a terrorist from the 32nd floor was met with an outpouring of love from this community. We remember the hundreds who were physically injured and the thousands who may relive the trauma of that night every day of their lives. We remember the police officers who braved the bullets to track down and eliminate their source and assist those who needed help in whatever form that help came. We remember the firefighters and the paramedics who rendered medical aid and provided assistance and support. And we remember our fellow citizens who drove the injured to the hospitals, who dressed wounds, who comforted their fellow concertgoers at the most harrowing of times. We remember the medical personnel who provided life-saving assistance on scene and at area hospitals. And we remember in those days and weeks and months afterwards, so many who gave of themselves, their time, their money, their sweat, their blood, and their tears to help all of those who suffered through this ordeal. God knows we suffered terribly as a community. And since so many concert goers were from out of town, the nation, indeed the world, suffered with us. The show of support and solidarity from around the globe in the aftermath of that day was tremendous and deeply moving. People stepped forward in so many different ways to help, in ways that resonated with them. They did it often because they wanted to help the families of the deceased and the injured. We showed the world the best side of our community. Us longtime Las Vegans know the compassion of our fellow citizens. On October 1, the world saw the spirit of this city that we locals knew was here all along. When the news of this attack faded from the headlines, sadly, to be replaced by other shootings and tragedies across the nation, Las Vegas remained focused on building a stronger, more resilient community. We reached out to the family of those who perished and the survivors who provided whatever support we could, whether it was financial or emotional or simply an ear. In the aftermath, we became Vegas strong. I recognize that not everyone felt they were stronger. After all, some gave everything. At the same time, this community came together as one. We were all in this together. We all experienced the heartache of that day and the aftermath. We had to come to grips with what occurred, recognize that we could learn from it, and build strength. We had to heal. Vegas Strong was and is more than a slogan. Today, that slogan has morphed into Vegas Stronger. And indeed, we are a stronger, more resilient community. We will always be wounded by what occurred on 1 October, but we are nevertheless Vegas Stronger. Thank you very much, and God bless every one of you. I would like to now introduce Mynda Smith to make some comments.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here. I look out and I see so many who have been through so much, and I am truly grateful to be able to be standing here with so much love in my heart. My name is Mynda Smith, sister of Neysa Tonks, who is one of the 58 angels taken from us 1 year ago. My family, my sister, and her boys, and our parents all live here in Las Vegas, while my brother and his family live in Utah. I stand here with gratitude in my heart for all of those being here with us today. Today I stand here with so much pride for our city and our country. I have learned and watched firsthand the meaning of being Vegas Strong. On October 1, our city was jolted into darkness. 58 families' lives were horrifically turned upside down. Out of our angels, 33 were from California, 7 were from Nevada, 4 were from Canada, 2 were from Alaska, 2 were from Utah, 1 was from Arizona, 1 Colorado, 1 Iowa, 1 Massachusetts, 1 Minnesota, 1 New Mexico, 1 Pennsylvania, 1 Tennessee, 1 Washington, and 1 from West Virginia. The weeks and months that followed left us finding it difficult to breathe and wondering how we would ever move forward. Again, on this day, thousands of lives changed forever when they had to live through that terrifying night, and now they struggle with all they have to endure. None of us will ever be the same after that night and the days that followed. However, none of us were alone. October 1 brought something none of us were expecting. As my parents, my husband, and myself sat at the convention center on October 2nd, waiting to find Neysa, we walked into a room that was overflowing with food and people who were there to help us. We were in awe at the food that was brought in, and even though at first we weren't hungry, the hours went by and we found that we needed fuel to keep us going. What we found wasn't just the most amazing food, which it was, but we found love that came from so many who were there to help us. I actually stood with my husband and took a video of the line of cars that were never ending, from people who were dropping off supplies and others that were there to help unload it. It was then that I became aware of the magnitude of this tragedy. It was my first moment of understanding that our journey wasn't just our journey. I couldn't wrap my brain around all the people who were suffering like us. I went home that night and got on social media for the first time, and then it was then that I saw the line of people waiting to give blood. This is when I knew that our city and so many visitors were behind us and that we weren't alone. This wasn't just our journey. Over time, we've been blessed to connect with so many new friends, many of who have become family. Most of the 58 families have joined forces, and together we find strength. We have found ways to heal. Some have started foundations to give love and support to others, to help our own hearts heal while we make a small difference in the world. My parents and I turned our anger into passion and figured out a way to help support the young children left behind. We started the Children of the 58 Loved and Never Forgotten Scholarship Fund to assist those children in furthering their education after high school. We hope it inspires them to dream big despite this horrific loss in their lives. But our battle is far from over. There are still 55 children without a parent. Wives, husbands, parents, families, and friends are without their loved ones. People are still battling physical wounds while others are battling mental wounds. We all need support and love. We must keep loving and we must keep supporting. Our hearts are continually overflowing as we watch random acts of kindness performed on our behalf of our 58 angels. It helps us know that they will never be forgotten and that their legacy will continue to carry on. Please continue to reach out to those who are struggling. Reach out to someone who is battling any kind of sickness. The world needs constant love. Make a difference in your community. Our city proved we have it in us. Take care of a family member, a friend, or a stranger. You showered love on our city. Many of you were visitors, just as so lost as many of us. But out of these ashes of this tragedy, a beautiful connection happened for all of us, a longing for hope and for happiness. I can't say we haven't had our fair share of sucker punches. They come and go sometimes as easy as the wind. We have definitely had some challenges thrown at us that could have derailed our journey, but we have not let it. With my parents, my husband, our family, and so many friends, we have tackled those tough times and prepared for the next obstacle we'll have to take on. But none of our journey has ended. We will continue to have obstacles we will have to tackle. For me, I know Neysa would have taken them head on with strength and confidence, ready to conquer it all. And that's what I'm choosing to do. Hold my head high and use her determination and strength when I feel at times mine is weakened. I will continue forward because of my faith, my beautiful knowledge of a better place for our 58 angels. Life doesn't end here, and we know we have 58 angels watching over us. Life cannot end for us here. We must embrace our future, release the negativity and hate. This evil and darkness cannot take over us, our families, or our lives. Our love must motivate us to move forward. We have the right to feel angry and sad. Embrace those emotions, but don't let them control you. This will take time. For many of us, it will take a lot of time. But we can't let this define us and let evil win. We must continue to fight. I refuse to let it take one more thing from me. It took my nephew's mom, my parents' daughter, my sister, and so many more who hurt by her loss. But we will fight to bring back the goodness that was here before this. We can't let hate enter our worlds. Believe me, we have a full understanding of how much hate we can feel in our hearts, as I know many of you can relate to. Hatred weakens the heart. Replace it with love and determination. Love for others. Focus on the light and never give in to the darkness. Continue to have the Vegas strong spirit push you forward. Neysa lived life fully. She danced as if no one was watching. She filled her life with passion, and if she believed in something, she would do it. She would do everything to make it happen. Neysa was loyal to a fault, and she always had your back. She was selfless and would do anything to help her boys, her family, or someone who is in need of something. She was devoted to everything she did and never stopped working until the job was done. She was definitely the Energizer Bunny because she just kept going and going and going. And she was one of the most beautiful people, both inside and out, but she was too humble and busy to recognize it and avoided the light, except when a good song came on and then it was time to dance. Neysa was taken from our life and she was cheated on the beautiful life she had. She will never see her boys graduate, marry, or have grandchildren. These 58 these 58 angels' lives were all cheated of time with their loved ones. We have to live life to the fullest, to live for them in honor, in love, without fear, with love and happiness. We deserve it. We must choose love, light, and happiness. A woman who I adore shared with me of when she lost a friend in a horrific tragedy. She carried a huge emotional image of her friend, which hung over her head for many years, drowning her in sorrow. 20 years later, she found someone to make the image small, and it sat gently on her shoulder. She never wanted to forget or lose that image, but she needed to lose the heaviness of that loss. I pray that as time moves forward, we never forget our 58 angels, nor all those who are suffering, but we find a way to turn those sorrows into something that can bring us joy. We have all changed. We have all been broken. But we can find a way to pick up those pieces and glue it all back together. Yes, the cracks will be seen, but it can be whole again, and we will be stronger because of those cracks. I know for me, I still have a lot of healing that needs to happen. I've made mistakes along this journey, and some still need to heal. The focus shifted this past year, and I need to fill in so many of the missing pieces that need to be in the forefront of my life. But I know that the sun will rise each day, offering us new hope to take steps, knowing our 58 angels are with us, longing for us to smile, to love, and for us to heal. We must fight on for them. I know they are with us, wanting this for us. Each day we see my nephews knowing the road that lies ahead for them, knowing they deserve a happy life. This tragedy can't define them. This can't define you. This won't define us. Together we are Vegas stronger. I have struggled many times when people ask me how I am. I feel ashamed to admit I'm great at that moment, that my life that day was filled with sunshine. However, tomorrow I'm determined to wake up, and when someone asks me how I am, I'm going to say I'm fabulous. I'm determined to be fabulous once again, and we should all try to feel fabulous, and we should dance like no one is watching. As time goes on, we know the light of this tragedy will fade for many of you. Life goes on, and we do hope the overwhelming sense of it all goes away, and what will be left is the beauty of our 58 angels and the beauty of our loved ones. Those of you who choose to fight so we can stop these tragedies from happening again, continue to fight, but fight with passion. Let your hearts continue to heal. Find that Vegas strong strength to fuel you each day. Be inspired each day to move forward heart to heart, with the ability to change the attitude of just one soul with a small act of kindness. We cannot change the world or what the future has in store, but together we can make this world shine brighter than it ever has before. I challenge you, be the good you want to see in the world. October 1 will always be Vegas Strong Day. The Vegas Strong spirit will always be brighter than the darkness that came from that day. We need to be reminded of the goodness that came from that battleground. Those of you who helped the injured, those of you who let someone borrow their phone so they could call to say they were okay, those who stopped to pick up someone's belongings as they fled for their own life, those who transported to hospitals or safe locations away from the venue, first responders and all medical staff who helped save so many, our city and many officials who all helped us to heal, the many doctors who are helping us recover from the mental trauma so many of us are still facing, and so many of you here and in all parts of the world who brought so much love in the days that followed October 1. Let the light in your spirit continue to shine. Don't let it go out. Let that light lead you in your life. We all have that light. Share it, nourish it, help it grow. But together, we must do it, because together, we are Vegas Strong. please join me in 58 seconds of silence and cherish the memories of our beautiful angels who live on in our hearts. And a few minutes after that, we will be releasing doves. Each dove will have a name on its foot to represent our 58 angels. Please keep them in your thoughts always, and as they ascend, take a moment to think of each and every one of them. Thank you so very much.
Lieutenant Rader, please retrieve the colors.
Honor guard! Forward! March!
Well, this will conclude our ceremony today. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to remember the fallen, as we will continue in perpetuity into the future. As a special treat, or a continuance of the ceremony, over in the rotunda here to my right, your left, we have the portraits of the fallen. I'd appreciate if each and every one of you would take the time to review the display. I think it's magnanimous. It's important for us to achieve some sort of closure as a result of that viewing. I also want to thank the special guests, members of the County Commission, members of the law enforcement community, members of our congressional delegation, and our legislature for attending today. I think it's important for you to show your participation in this ceremony. So thank you, each and every one of you, for coming today, and God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.